So I reposted on my IG stories at Five Card Guys, something that Card Vault by Tom Brady posted recently, and it's that they are expanding very quickly with seven brand new locations opening soon. Actually, they just opened their New York City location, I believe last week or the week before, and Carl Anthony Towns was there to help launch uh, the Card Vault by Tom Brady location in NYC. Other locations to be open soon include Las Vegas, Dallas, Minneapolis, Palo Alto, Sacramento, and San Francisco. Now, put that aside because David Adams, when I was in New York City for the second Fanatics Fest, I went to their NYC location. Obviously, we know their original location is in Buffalo, New York, one of the biggest card stores on the continent. So they already have a couple of stores out there. And closer to home, I interviewed John Amendola of Mint Inc. recently, and they're about to open a new location in Ajax, which is a half hour out from Toronto. So all of that got me thinking, with the hobby growing as it is, do you guys think the expansion of these hobby shops that are essentially becoming chain stores now, are they the future of the hobby landscape? And if you think so, will this be bad for other local card shops or even for other retailers, bigger retailers like Walmart and Target? Or do you think there's room for all these kinds of stores in the hobby?
First and foremost, I think hobby shops need to evolve, period. It's been like that for the past, I would say at least 5 years, 5, 10 years, where it totally changed. And I know there's a lot of good that come out of hobby shops, and we have great memories. And I'm all for supporting local hobby shops.
Yeah.
But what you're seeing with the Tom Brady vaults, the Mint Inks, the chain stores that are growing, they are evolving because the whole market, the whole hobby has been evolving. So the services that are required now, the demand from the public, the hobbyists like us, such as, let's just say, grading. Like a regular hobby shop wouldn't offer that, right? Because so much has changed in the PSA landscape. But now these card shops are like Tom Brady, they're seeing it as more of a, okay, how do we merge the physical and the digital aspect of it? Because if you look at revenue, there's breaks, there's, different things like individual slab sales. And then you mix in stuff like trade nights where it gets people in the store, but they're marketing it from the digital side. You're only aware of it because they're so present online. So it's this mixture of, it works. It's definitely going to work because the hobby is growing and they need distribution partners, right?
Yeah.
People need to go to places. You're either going to retail, Walmart, Targets, or your local card shop, or most people go on Facebook groups for online breaks, right? So the opportunity is there. As a brick and mortar store owner, you're going to either have to accept that or be stuck in the old way of thinking, saying the hobby sucks. We are an old school hobby shop. I think that won't work. I think what they are doing is they're innovative entrepreneurs, they're visionaries, they see opportunity where a lot of people don't see. And with that said, there's obviously concerns, right? But like I said, those concerns can't be addressed until they actually kind of manifest, right? So that's why as we grow, people are going to take chances. They see the opportunities, they're going to grow, and then there's going to be more problems saying this sucks, so we have to address this issue. But that's the evolution of the hobby. So for me, can they coexist? Absolutely. I think it's imperative. I think you can't coexist if you're just a digital brand, right? I think there's this hybrid of digital physical that works in today's society and economics that makes sense from a business standpoint, but also makes sense from a marketing standpoint. So yes, I love what they're doing. Because like I said, what other options are there right now? Show me a better option. I would love to go into a vault just to check it out. I don't really do it here. There's no option to do that.
Right.
So it's a matter of catering to our hobby, really, and what the demands are that's being created.
Makes sense to me. What about you, John?
Yeah. You know, when you look at the mid 80s to the mid 90s, and there was like that big bubble that happened where there's like an insatiable demand for sports cars, which kind of similar to present day. You'd have all of these local car shops popping up everywhere. And they didn't sustain because of, ended up being this sort of bubble. Fast forward to today, and some people might see it the same way, but I think because the fact that Fanatics is involved, and this is looking like not just a bubble, but sustainable growth. Like this demand is really going up, and it looks like it's sort of here to stay. And as a result, you're seeing these bigger brands expanding, making these giant franchises, right? You'll see David Adams, you'll see maybe, I don't know if you mentioned, but you mentioned in the notes, like maybe Fanatics opening a store,
Right, that too, yeah.
Card Vault opening, like, so these bigger sort of known brands now. And, Jeff Wilson, if they start expanding to all the major cities, I mean, which we could possibly expect, that will be trouble for the mom and pop local shop, right? I mean, you'll still get your customers in your immediate area, but in terms of the big picture, yeah, that's probably trouble, because I mean, this is the same as Costco coming along, when Walmart's came along, and the convenience store business, which used to be fairly lucrative back in the day, is no longer lucrative. You're only popular in your exact neighborhood, right? So I think that's pretty much what's going to happen here. And kind of to Hyung's point, for some of these LCSs, you're going to have to adapt. You can't still be the old school, you walk in there and it's just crammed with meaningless product that doesn't really excite, like for some of these old school shops.
Yeah.
Realistically, the reason the three of us would actually walk in there is, number one, because it's right near my house. And number two, I just need to quickly and go and get a couple of mag loaders, right? I'm not walking in there.
Let's be real. It's to rip.
Or that, yeah.
Yeah.
If they happen to have product, right? So a lot of times they don't have what you're looking for, right? You're not going in there to window shop. You're not walking there for the excitement of like a great experience. It's not going to be like that compared to walking into like David Adams in New York, where it's like, whoa, look at this place, beautiful. Look at the product they have on display. Look at the individual single cards. Like they have, I'm just thinking of Will's latest purchase, but like Vladdy Bobuchet Dual Auto. Like there's things that interest you in the window shopping experience. So these local card shops, I think, is going to become your local convenience store. In Canada, we have, Home Depot sort of took over the big brand, but you still have your local home hardware, your local hardware shops that still cater to the neighborhood. So I think that's where this is headed. So in terms of the big picture, are these local card shops sort of in a bit of a pickle? Yeah, possibly. I think so, unless they start adjusting and doing their best to change with the times, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think for some of these local card shops that have been around for a while, they're in trouble for sure. Because I don't have much confidence that some of these owners who are probably older in age too, right? They've been doing it for decades. I don't know what their ability is to evolve and to adapt. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they don't want have that energy to do it. And unfortunately for them, it looks like the writing is kind of on the wall in the next 2, 3, 5 years. So unless you evolve as an LCS owner, I think you're in trouble. But I also see there's potential, right? Like I'm aligned with you that almost like this franchising of LCSs, right, with these chain stores is inevitable as the hobby grows, because you got to meet the demand, and wherever there's increasing demand, there's money to be made, and you're going to have people that are going to take opportunities to profit off of the current market landscape, right? So it's true of sports cards, and that's not surprising to me at all. But if I see more the potential for these LCS to be like these restaurants. Let's think about the restaurant industry. I love McDonald's. I love that any city I can go to, if I feel like a Big Mac, I can go and get a Big Mac. And I know what their service is like. I know what their standard is like. It's going to be like that for a lot of these like Card Vault by Tom Brady stores and Dave and Adams. You just kind of have an expectation of what it's going to be like. And that's why you like going to these places. But, with restaurants, if it's a destination place, like if you hear about it, the reviews, like people are willing to go there, or if I'm close by to that city, I'm willing to drop by this boutique card shop because they offer this kind of experience. I mean, you let the customers come to you. That's a great business model too, right? I think you got to figure it out as a card shop owner, what that is. Like, what can I offer that, these retail outlets, retail stores, card stores can't? Then that's where I would start to think, like, what can I do? Obviously, having a social media presence will help as well to garner that attention. But yeah, I think part of that is going to be necessary for these LCS owners.
I was going to say, Clark, what would they have to do to let the people know that they are special? That's the key, right? And I think that's where the old school mindset thinking doesn't exist. I know local card stores within our area that I guarantee you no one knows they exist.
Right.
But I go there, and compared to the bigger like 401 games, let's just say they're a bigger I guess card shop in the Toronto area.
Yep.
When I went to like Collector's Dream, I would pull like crazy stuff. They have boxes that like I was like, you still have this box? But now it's less and less because they're not buying as much, but no one would know.
Yeah.
No one would know about Collector's Dreams. You know what I mean? Sure. So it's like, that's where I see local card shops really struggling, is to adapt to, forget the card market. We're just saying basic functionality as a business in today's society. What are the fundamentals that need to be had? And that's what we're talking about. It's like this basic stuff. And you go back to local card shops like Mint Inc., right? Mm-hmm. When John started that, he wasn't a massive franchise, or Mint Inc. wasn't this massive. It was a local card shop. That's what his focus was. But it evolves, right? You realize what the public demands, what they're good at, what they could be profitable and sustainable at, and now where they would invest based on where it's going. And you see it, you could be a local card shop that ends up becoming someone bigger because you've taken the initiative to kind of evolve and, see where the market's going. So I see both sides of it. And I agree with you guys where I think there will always be a demand for local card shops. But like I said, even from a distribution standpoint, and we all know distribution, it's like the person that gives you $1 million PO versus the person that gives you a $10,000 PO. Who are you going to cater your attention to in time? Who are you going to bend the rules to, or whatever? That's what happens when you have distributors, and when you have bigger stores that have these allocations. For instance, if you're a bigger breaker, you have allocations compared to a different local card shop, because I know that was the issue with local card shop. They had no allocation of product. So it's like stuff like that we've always seen that, especially during these last 5 years for local card shops, is allocation. It's like, okay, Topps Chrome came out. Do you have it? Oh, we didn't get it. What do you mean? Like, that's the latest release. So it's like stuff like that where
sure.
I think, there's a lot of things that need to evolve. Yeah.
But I think to your point and to your initial question of like, what do local card shops have to do? Like, part of it is go digital. We already kind of talked about that, right? Because then you expand your customer base, and it's just a local. And then in terms of distribution, or in terms of getting the product, that's another challenge, of course. But what can you do to put yourself on the map in front of a Fanatics rep or Topps rep? You got to increase your brand somehow, right? Like, honestly, if I was in Ohio, I might stop by Card Collector 2's store just because I know what he has a big following. And you're like, oh, I see his content all the time. It'd be kind of cool to check out his place. And I know he only has one store in, I believe it's Ohio, right? So it's you know, if you increase your brand, a lot of good things can happen. If you have a lot of attention to who you are, then you can make those kind of connections possibly to get more product or to partner with different people in the industry that can help grow your business.